Edo State House of Assembly Speaker, Blessing Sheriff Agbebeku has confirmed the killing of Brigadier General Asani Brema, the commander of the 29 Task Force Brigade in Operation Haddon Kai, when the Brigadier General and his troops came under the coordinated multiple attacks launched by the Islamic State of West Africa Province, Iswap at Benishek community in Kaga local government area of Borno State early morning night on Thursday. An attack the Nigeria Defense Headquarters had on Thursday denied the Brigadier General was ever killed alongside his soldiers, insisting the general was alive until Friday morning. The Edo State House of Assembly Speaker, who is also one of the prominent kinsmen of the high-ranking soldier, announced the death of the Brigadier General on behalf of the people of Owen ethnic group in Edo State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who probably tried to avoid contradicting the statement of denial issued by the Nigeria Defense Headquarters, mourned the deaths and killing of the country's soldiers, by thus simply and apparently logically stating that, "I extend my condolences to the families of our gallant soldiers, led by Brigadier General Asani Brema, who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our country today in Borno State." According to the condolence message made available by the Special Advisor on Media to the Edo State House of Assembly Speaker and a prominent broadcaster in the state-owned Edo Broadcasting Service, EBS, Ivy Adodo Ebejele, the Edo State House of Assembly Speaker, Blessing Agbebeku said, "On behalf of the entire Assembly and the good people of Owen Nation, mourns the painful loss of our gallant son, Brigadier General O.O. Brema, who paid the ultimate price in service to our dear nation, Nigeria. His bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to the peace and unity of our country will never be forgotten. He stood as a shield for the nation and a symbol of courage for generations to come. This tragic loss is not only a blow to the Nigerian army but a deep wound to Owen land, Edo State, and the nation at large. We are proud of his service, even in grief. We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, the Nigerian Armed Forces, and all who mourn this hero. May the Almighty grant his soul eternal rest and give us all the strength to bear this irreparable loss. Rest on, brave son of Owen. Your sacrifice will forever speak." President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a condolence message issued through the Office of the Special Advisor on Media and Strategy to the President, Bayo Onanuga, said, expressed deep sadness over the loss of the brave soldiers of the 29 Task Force Brigade, Operation Haddon Kai, who died in a coordinated terrorist attack on their camp in Benishek, Borno State. The President also expressed heartfelt condolences to the military and the families of the soldiers, urging them to take heart in the face of the unfortunate loss. The Defense Headquarters confirmed the attack and the tragic loss of lives, which occurred early Thursday, April 9, 2026. President Tinubu praised the courage and heroism of the soldiers who fought valiantly to repel the terrorists and ensure that Boko Haram could not overrun the communities the soldiers protect. While mourning the death of the gallant soldiers, President Tinubu urged the leadership of the armed forces and all soldiers on the front line not to be discouraged, but to draw strength from the nation's deep appreciation for their sacrifices. From the reports I have received, our armed forces have been conducting sustained, intense land and air offensives against the insurgents, neutralizing many of their fighters and commanders. The insurgents' counterattack is a sign of desperation. I extend my condolences to the families of our gallant soldiers, led by Brigadier General Asani Brema, who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our country today in Borno State. The government will never forget their sacrifices. Their sacrifices will not be in vain. Because of the courage and dedication of our troops on the front line, our resolve to defeat terrorism and all forms of violence across Nigeria is stronger than ever. I urge the military high command and our troops in all theaters of operation, do not lose heart, do not be weary, do not be discouraged. Our officers and men should continue to serve with honor, courage, and patriotism. The government will always stand by the armed forces, provide more of the equipment needed and ensure the welfare of all who risk their lives for our safety. I urge Nigerians and the media to continue to support our military in their relentless battle against insurgency and banditry. We should desist from celebrating or condoning the attacks against our troops. These soldiers are our heroes, unforgettable and irreplaceable. My condolences also go to the government and people of Borno State. The federal government will continue to work with the state government to achieve total victory and lasting peace. We had on Thursday reported that the Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN, has insisted that Brigadier General Asani Brema is alive, after several reports indicated that the commander of the 29 Task Force Brigade in Operation Haddon Kai was left dead alongside several other Nigerian soldiers when the Islamic State of West Africa Province, Iswap, launched a coordinated multiple attacks on military bases at Pulka, Bakin Ruwa communities in Gwoza local government area and Namdi and Benishek communities in the Kaga local government area of Borno State between the hours of 10 p.m. on Wednesday night and 12 a.m. on Thursday early morning night, killing several numbers of Nigerian soldiers, overran some of the military bases, but the Nigeria Military Authority claimed that Brigadier General Asani Brema and his troops were able to repel the attackers at Benishek, saying, "The Brigadier General is alive and not dead," as widely reported in some media platforms. In addition, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, in a press statement issued a few hours ago by Major General Michael Onoja, admitted that some numbers of Nigerian soldiers were left dead during the attacks but refused to state the total numbers of soldiers killed by the attackers. Accordingly, the army said, regrettably, the encounter resulted in the loss of a few brave and gallant soldiers who paid the supreme price in the line of duty.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN, has insisted that Brigadier General Asani Brema is alive, after several reports indicated that the commander of the 29 Task Force Brigade in Operation Haddon Kai was left dead alongside several other Nigerian soldiers when the Islamic State of West Africa Province, Iswap, launched a coordinated multiple attacks on military bases at Pulka, Bakin Ruwa communities in Gwoza local government area and Namdi and Benishek communities in the Kaga local government area of Borno State between the hours of 10 p.m. on Wednesday night and 12 a.m. on Thursday early morning night, killing several numbers of Nigerian soldiers, overran some of the military bases, but the Nigeria Military Authority claimed that Brigadier General Asani Brema and his troops were able to repel the attackers at Benishek, saying, "The Brigadier General is alive and not dead," as widely reported in some media platforms. In addition, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, in a press statement issued a few hours ago by Major General Michael Onoja, admitted that some numbers of Nigerian soldiers were left dead during the attacks but refused to state the total numbers of soldiers killed by the attackers. Accordingly, the army said, regrettably, the encounter resulted in the loss of a few brave and gallant soldiers who paid the supreme price in the line of duty. According to the Nigeria Defense Headquarters in a press release that looked apparently self-contradicting, questionable and somehow dishonest with facts, in continuation of the Armed Forces of Nigeria's, AFN, counter-terrorism efforts, troops of the 29 Task Force Brigade in Operation Haddon Kai came under a coordinated terrorist attack on their location at the brigade headquarters in Benishek, Borno State. The attack occurred at approximately 0:30 hours, 12:30 a.m., on Thursday the 9th of April 2026, as insurgents attempted to breach the defensive perimeter of the military installation. However, the troops, led by the Commander 29 Brigade, Brigadier General Asani Brema, responded with exceptional courage, professionalism, and superior firepower. In a well-coordinated counteraction, the insurgents were decisively engaged and forced to retreat in disarray, abandoning their mission and leaving behind traces of their failed assault. This attack is a clear indication of the desperation of terrorist elements who, having suffered significant losses in recent operations, continue to resort to futile and ill-fated offensives against well-defended military positions. The swift and decisive response by troops underscores the high level of combat readiness, resilience, and operational effectiveness of Operation Haddon Kai in safeguarding critical locations and maintaining pressure on terrorist groups across the Northeast Theater. Regrettably, the encounter resulted in the loss of a few brave and gallant soldiers who paid the supreme price in the line of duty. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Olatunbosun Oluyede, honors their heroism, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to the defense of the nation. Their courage will forever remain a source of pride and inspiration to the armed forces of Nigeria and the entire nation. The High Command extends its deepest condolences to their families and loved ones. In line with established military tradition and respect for the fallen, the general public and media are kindly requested to allow the armed forces to formally notify the next of kin before the release of further details. The public is also urged to disregard misinformation, sensational reports, and unverified content circulating across social media platforms, as these undermine ongoing operations and national security efforts. The Armed Forces of Nigeria, in collaboration with other security agencies and stakeholders, remain resolute and undeterred in the ongoing fight against terrorism and insurgency. Additional clearance and exploitation operations are ongoing in the general area to track and neutralize fleeing insurgents, as well as to deny them any opportunity to regroup. The Chief of Defense Staff commends the bravery, discipline, and steadfastness of the troops, whose sacrifices continue to ensure the safety, stability, and sovereignty of Nigeria. Their dedication in one of the most challenging operational environments reaffirms the armed forces' commitment to restoring lasting peace in the Northeast and across the country. The general public is encouraged to continue supporting the armed forces through timely and credible information that can aid ongoing operations. Citizens are urged to remain calm, vigilant, and law-abiding as security forces sustain momentum in ongoing operations. Further updates will be provided as necessary. Signed by Michael Onoja, Major General, Director, Defense Media Operations, Defense Headquarters, Abuja on the 9th of April 2026. International News Agency, AFP, while quoting its source as republished by Punch newspaper, stated that terrorists in northeast Nigeria killed a brigadier general in an assault on a military base, a local government chairman told AFP on Thursday, the second killing of a high-ranking officer in 5 months. Africa's most populous country has been fighting a terrorist insurgency for 17 years, since Boko Haram's 2009 uprising, which has seen the emergence of powerful splinter groups, including Islamic State West Africa Province. In an overnight attack, unidentified terrorists killed at least 18 soldiers and torched vehicles at a base in Benishek, about 75 kilometers from Borno state capital Maiduguri, an intelligence source told AFP. Unfortunately, the brigade commander, Brigadier General O.O. Brema, lost his life, Kaga local government chairman, Zanalawan Ajami told AFP in a phone interview. 2 intelligence sources confirmed Brema's death to AFP. His death follows the killing of Brigadier General Musa Uba by Iswap in November. He was the highest-ranking military official to die in the long-running conflict since 2021. They overran the brigade, one of the intelligence sources said, giving the death toll as, at least, 18. The second intelligence source said that the terrorists killed several troops and burned vehicles and buildings before they withdrew, without giving a toll. The Army and Nigeria's defense headquarters did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Borno capital Maiduguri has seen 2 suicide bombings since December, the type of bloody, urban attacks reminiscent of the insurgency's peak a decade ago. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said in a notice it was authorizing non-emergency U.S. government employees to leave Abuja due to the deteriorating security situation. While the insurgency is concentrated in the northeastern countryside, terrorists from Nigeria and the neighboring Sahel have made inroads western Nigeria, where organized crime gangs known as bandits have been raiding villages and extorting farmers and artisanal miners for years. Gunmen killed at least 90 people across several remote villages in northwest Nigeria this week, according to an AFP tally of tolls given by local and humanitarian sources. Among the attacks was an assault in Kebbi State that police blamed a local terrorist group known as Mahmuda, which is affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Kebbi sits on Nigeria's border with Benin and Niger and since 2025 has been targeted by a rising number of terrorist attacks. Mike Arnold, an American politician who is a prominent and controversial figure in Nigerian social and political discourse, stated via his Facebook page that, "I first reported this overnight, as it was happening. I've since received multiple confirmations. From what I know, this is what happened." Iswap launched simultaneous attacks on two Borno state locations overnight, Pulka community in Gwoza local government area and Benishek town in Kaga local government area. In Pulka, fighters struck the military operations base at approximately 10:25 p.m., engaging soldiers until troops ran out of ammunition. Attackers then moved to a road construction site, destroying equipment and vehicles belonging to Decency Road construction firm, before setting civilian homes ablaze. Civilians fled to surrounding mountains. Reinforcements arrived from Brigadier Gwoza and repelled the attack. One civilian JTF member was killed. Military casualties unconfirmed but reported. In Benishek, terrorists struck at approximately 1 a.m., burning trucks and commercial vehicles and killing motorists and passengers who had stopped for the night due to the routine evening closure of the Maiduguri-Damaturu-Kano road. A brigadier general, the military's commanding officer at Benishek, was killed in the attack. It is the highest-ranking officer killed since Brigadier General Uba was killed in a Borno ambush in late 2025. The two attacks were coordinated and simultaneous. Senator Ali Ndume confirmed both incidents, noting that troops are doing their best but lack sufficient equipment to confront the terrorists. Pulka currently hosts thousands of displaced survivors from the Ngosh massacre of March 3rd. The terrorists hit it again last night. My thoughts: Tinubu and his administration should relocate to the military base there. Perhaps the next attack will solve all of Nigeria's problems all at once, when they are visited by the brothers and sons, and given a fitting send-off. Note: the troops lack insufficient equipment, too bad they can't fight with restoring hope, buses, or bags of rice, or 300 million naira's wristwatches. The Nigerian government is illegitimate, illegal, corrupt and complicit. Innocent people continue to pay the price. This must end.
Bring in the news in a more digital way.
Nigeria President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given reasons why he could not visit the Angwin Rakuba community, the scene some citizens were massacred by terrorists on Palm Sunday, saying, upon arrival in Jos, the visit encountered some logistical challenges. While the road distance from the airport to Jos Township is approximately 40 minutes, the runway does not support night flights due to the absence of navigational aids. The constraints made it unfeasible to drive into town, meet victims for on-the-spot assessment and return to the airport before dusk. Consequently, state and federal officials decided to bring representatives of the affected community to a hall adjoining the airport so the president could meet with them promptly while adhering to flight restrictions. Swiftly, Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State and the Labour Party presidential candidate in the last general elections in Nigeria, said, during his visit to Benue State in June 2025, Bola Ahmed Tinubu stopped at the government house but did not go to the actual scene where innocent Nigerians lost their lives. Similarly, in Jos, his engagement ended at the airport instead of at the affected communities. At a time when Nigerians are enduring days without power, our leaders cannot even stay a few minutes without it. Now is the time to stop incompetent leaders. Those lacking the capacity and compassion, who prioritize their own comfort over the well-being of the people and make empty promises. On the other hand, Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president of Nigeria and the last general elections presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, demanded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu act as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and stated how dozens have continued to be killed in Benue State less than 72 hours, another killings in Kaduna State and thousands of people seen running away at a community in Nasarawa State after the president had visited Plateau State and promised such attack wouldn't occur again, according to Atiku Abubakar. I wish to remind President Bola Tinubu to keep to his words that this Angwin-Rakuba attack will not repeat itself. It does appear that those words are hollow because barely 72 hours. Another attack in Benue State claimed over a dozen lives. The Commander-in-Chief should brace up to the challenges of governance. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga on April 3, 2026 in a statement said, President Tinubu's itinerary for Thursday included two main engagements, receiving the Chadian President, Mahamat Idris Deby Itno, and proceeding to Iperu, Ogun State. After Governor Caleb Mutfwang's briefing, President Tinubu suspended the trip to Ogun. Overnight, the presidential villa made arrangements for the visit to Jos, with presidential assets quickly deployed. However, the president could not postpone the scheduled visit by the Chadian leader. The president of Chad was at the presidential villa for a very important bilateral meeting focused on strengthening security collaboration between the two countries. The meeting ran longer than expected, affecting President Tinubu's scheduled departure for Jos. Upon arrival in Jos, the visit encountered some logistical challenges. While the road distance from the airport to Jos Township is approximately 40 minutes, the runway does not support night flights due to the absence of navigational aids. The constraints made it unfeasible to drive into town, meet victims for on-the-spot assessment and return to the airport before dusk. Consequently, state and federal officials decided to bring representatives of the affected community to a hall adjoining the airport so the president could meet with them promptly while adhering to flight restrictions. Among the people in the hall were the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police, who had visited Rakuba, the epicenter of the conflict. President Tinubu deployed the high-level team to Rakuba, including the Senior Special Assistant on Community Engagement, to undertake critical groundwork on security and community engagement, with a view to stabilizing the area before his arrival. Beyond expressing his condolences to the victims, President Tinubu's objective was to engage with critical stakeholders in Plateau State on ending the recurring, decades-old conflict that has resulted in needless loss of lives and property. President Tinubu's visit to Jos was not merely symbolic. It was a strategic, high-level engagement aimed at bringing all stakeholders together to address the root causes of conflict and insecurity in the state. He interacted with the victims, consoled them, and listened to them. He also listened to local leaders and assured them that the federal government would deliver justice and end the cycle of violence. He promised the deployment of 5,000 AI-enabled cameras to monitor the city and enhance the identification and arrest of troublemakers. Furthermore, the president invited the community leaders to Abuja for further talks on finding a lasting solution to the recurring violence in the state. The meeting, televised live, was solemn and reassuring, boosting residents' confidence. President Tinubu achieved the purpose of his visit, despite the naysayers' attempts to ridicule it. He dropped an unmistakable message: sustainable peace must be built with the people, not imposed on them. Reacting, Peter Obi said, during the 2023 campaign, President Tinubu made a clear electoral promise: if I don't give you constant electricity in 4 years, don't vote for me for a second term. When he took office in 2023, Nigeria had a power supply of over 4,000 megawatts and lower tariffs. Today, the electricity power supply is less than 4,000 megawatts on the average, and Nigerians are paying higher tariffs. Nigeria currently has the lowest per capita electricity consumption in the world, with a rate below 30% of the African average. Africa's average is 617 kWh, Nigeria's is 144 kilowatt-hours. This means that Nigerians consume least electricity than other Africans. In a glaring display of disregard for promises and a lack of trust, President Tinubu, during a brief airport stopover to visit grieving families of the Jos attack on Thursday, April 2, 2026, stated that one of the reasons for his 10-minute stay was that the airport had no electricity. You have no light here, I fly out in 10 minutes. At a time when Nigerians are enduring days without power, our leaders cannot even stay a few minutes without it. Now is the time to stop incompetent leaders, those lacking the capacity and compassion, who prioritize their own comfort over the well-being of the people and make empty promises. During his visit to Benue State in June 2025, Bola Ahmed Tinubu stopped at the government house but did not go to the actual scene where innocent Nigerians lost their lives. Similarly, yesterday in Jos, his engagement ended at the airport instead of at the affected communities. What happened in Plateau yesterday highlights a complete absence of leadership. True leadership requires presence, empathy, compassion, and a willingness to meet people where their pain truly lies. For citizens who have just lost loved ones, homes, and their sense of safety, being addressed from an airport tarmac is profoundly inadequate. This approach exacerbates the sense of abandonment already felt by innocent Nigerians who have endured repeated cycles of violence without meaningful protection or justice. Plateau deserves more than distant words. It requires urgent action and a clear commitment to ending the insecurity that continues to claim innocent lives. In such moments, leadership must not only be visible but also tangible, standing with victims, listening to survivors, and acknowledging the depth of the grief. If we truly desire a better Nigeria, we must demand leadership that is present, responsive, and responsible at all times. We must resist the suffocation of our democracy by those who once claimed to have sacrificed to defend it, but are now doing everything possible to undermine it and silence opposition. History will not be kind to those who traded the struggle for democracy for the comfort of power. We will not remain silent, we will not be intimidated, and we will not surrender the future of this nation. The will of the people must prevail, stronger, louder, and impossible to suppress. Atiku Abubakar said, "I wish to remind President Bola Tinubu to keep to his words that this Angwin Rakuba attack will not repeat itself." It does appear that those words are hollow because barely 72 hours, another attack in Benue State claimed over a dozen lives. The Commander-in-Chief should brace up to the challenges of governance. I am also concerned, like all well-meaning Nigerians, about what is going on in a Nasarawa community where families had fled on foot amid threats of attack. And as if those are not enough, there was a fresh attack in Kaduna State at the weekend. The primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property and the promotion of the welfare of citizens. Enough of these hollow rhetoric, Mr. President. It is time to fold your sleeves and get to work. Meanwhile, my thoughts and prayers are with the families who may have lost a dear one in these attacks. I am outraged by the barbaric attack in Gari Yahweh community, Angwin Rakuba, Jos, which claimed the lives of scores of innocent Nigerians and left many others injured. That this heinous assault occurred on Sunday night, March 29, 2026, is yet another damning indictment of the near-total collapse of security in our country. What we are witnessing is not merely a security lapse, but a tragic descent into lawlessness where human lives are treated as expendable. Despite endless pronouncements and so-called marching orders, insecurity remains the grim, daily reality of ordinary Nigerians who continue to bear the brunt of a failing system. It is long past the time for outrage without action. The anger across the land must now compel urgent, decisive political will to confront and crush this menace. The continued slaughter of innocent citizens cannot become our new normal. My thoughts and prayers are with the families and loved ones of the victims in this dark and painful moment.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. You have no light at the airport, and I have to fly back within the next 10 minutes. To you leaders, I've heard this. To the victim, there is nothing I can give you, whether money in billions, but console you and promise you that this experience will not repeat itself. I take For example, Favor Roda. I know the pain. I see how on the video you head on to Ayuba and the pain and agony in your heart. But it's only God. It's only God who can give you joy and comfort. No amount of money can pay all of you back. Yes, as government, we will try our best. Who had accommodated us politically. I brought the symbol of this cap to break the shackle of violence, shackle of ignorance, shackle of poverty, shackle of hopelessness. We must break it together. I thank the men and women of the armed forces, particularly the police, for what they are doing and what they are about to do. You must unearth and find the killers. I'm glad IGP is here. I'm glad COAS is here too, Chief of Army Staff. I'm glad the Minister of Defense is here. Our dear leaders, I've been to Jos, I've enjoyed Jos in those days of peace. We've held our political activities here, Yaya Kande. I'm glad you are still alive. We thank God for you and many of you. Thank you. I used to point to your house where we spent the night, where the leaders, both the leaders of our politics, where I was active as a young man. You accommodated us. You opened your doors for us.
This is Brigadier.
Then why do we build a division? Our promise then was progressive development.
There has been gunshot by the security personnel.
Improve standard of living for our people.
There will be another gunshot.
Not to bury, but to develop.
The market, most people are stranded at this point.
Immediately we return to Abuja.
If you can look from here,
The committee, as mentioned,
at this
you increase the number of leaders,
they can't go anywhere, they can't move further.
including Atawe, the governor,
This is very
and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. The minister, thank you.
close to tomato market.
Come see me, take numeric
Currently,
analysis. You are a data person.
soldiers are
For the victims, let's see what we can do.
Franco around here. This is Brigadier around the
For their losses, we cannot replace
and
a human being.
wants to
But whatever we do to give them minimum comfort, we will.
Welcome Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Young man who identified himself as a 400-level student in the Department of Statistics at the University of Jos Unijos in Plateau State has given accounts how he was told to go and collect the dead body of his sibling on the phone by the attackers who on Wednesday were seen in a viral video that mobbed and stoned his sibling almost to death at an ever-busy road near the permanent site of the University of Jos. Accordingly, he said the victim, who happened to be his younger sibling, is also a 300-level student in the Department of Geology from the same University of Jos, saying, his younger sibling only went out around 8 or 9 on Wednesday morning to resolve issue with his bank account at Terminus area of the Jos city when he came under attack after the driver of the commercial tricycle or keke he entered abandoned him halfway and asked him to find way out for his own escape as the rampaging mobs took over the road. According to the elder brother of the mob victim, who also introduced himself simply as Nando, his younger sibling, already sensing danger, called him on the phone, that the keke driver had abandoned him halfway before the junction of his house, that he's currently running on the street towards home, adding, the victim begged him to look for commercial motorcycle or Ocado rider to advance towards his direction and wait at their street junction to help him home, but, while he made attempt to do as requested by his younger brother, the security operatives in the area prevented him, saying, they can't allow him go out because the situation in town was too dangerous. He said while he was looking helpless, he decided to put a call across to his younger brother, only for the phone's call to be answered by the attackers, who spoke to him in Hausa language that they have killed his brother, that he should go to the scene to pick his younger brother's dead body. He said he started crying and a lot of people around started consoling him, while the security operatives at the senior staff quarters gate still prevented him from going out until there is normalcy in the area. He said some sympathizers took him home from the point he was to the university staff quarters, where his neighbors who came in to also console him started encouraging him not to cry again, with the optimism that his younger brother is not dead. He said one of his neighbors thereafter asked him to report the issue at the police station, which they did, and submitted the snapped copy of the victim's student identity card at the police station and returned home waiting for feedback from the police. He said he was waiting on the police for feedback. He decided to log into his WhatsApp group chats, and behold, he saw a video of his younger brother being interviewed at a hospital bed inside an undisclosed medical center, and that was how he knew he was still alive and his whereabouts. It would be recalled that we had reported that it may not be wrong to say lack of proper accountability by the Nigeria police force. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, is largely responsible for the daily killings in the troubled Jos city of Plateau State. This is probably glaring on Wednesday when a resident reported with a video evidence of a disturbing situation wherein a man was seen mobbed and stoned to death at a very popular and ever-busy road, apparently within the area or near the University of Jos permanent site. Group of attackers, as seen in the video, operated for some minutes, if not up to an hour, used sticks, stones among others, to hit the victim's head until they were satisfied the man would have been dead, while vehicles were seen speeding off and moving away from them with no resistance or timely response from the Nigerian security operatives, even when the worsening security situations and tensions in Plateau State have become of global concern. The Plateau State Command of the Nigeria Police Force, in a statement on Wednesday, only said a disagreement ensued between some youths in Nasarawa Gwong community of Jos North local government area on Wednesday and caused minor tensions in the town, saying, unfortunately, some hoodlums and crisis merchants took advantage of the situation to cause fear and panic among traders and students within the university community. However, the command, in collaboration with other security agencies, swiftly intervened, arrested the situation and restored calm in the area, but the Nigeria Police Force Command apparently kept mute on the now viral video of a man being mobbed and stoned to death in a brutal and highly provocative manner that can cause a reprisal attack, more so, as daily killings in the state are attributed to religious differences, although some persons said the victim was still alive. But Sun newspaper reported on Thursday morning that 3 persons, including the victim, were killed in the fresh violence that erupted in Plateau State on Wednesday.
When the day break, my brother was like, he wants to go to Dennos. because he was like he's having an issue with his bank. So he said that he'll be going to Terminus so that he go and rectify the issue and come back. So I'm going to Terminus, and like that's how the thing started, because he left from around 8 to 9 Terminus. So when he reached Terminus, and he was like, the bank was not even open so, because there is tension still going on. When he saw that the bank was not open, UBA bank, so as he want to turn and started coming back to quarters. And that's how the thing happened. You just see people running everywhere, everybody just trying to escape, running. He now entered KK, he managed to go to KK. So he entered, and like the KK was even taking not too far from Terminus, yeah. And the KK man saw that they are just fighting, people are running for their dear life, all this kind of stuff. Now stop and say, he said like you just come down and know how to just go and escape. So when my brother came down, he saw the situation, he now picked his phone. He called me that he's in Terminus, trying to coming back. He got the KK, but the KK man didn't reach him to our junction. So, but it's not quite far, it's not too far from our junction, yeah. So he's just running like with his leg so that maybe he reach our junction so that he enter inside senior staff quarters. And he was like, please, can I come to the junction? Maybe if you can see a bike, something like that, so that I'll come and carry him or help him out. And I was okay, let me come down to the junction. So when we end that call, and I came out of my room, I locked my room. And when I was trying to go out, I reached our senior staff quarters gate. The securities there couldn't allow me to go out because of the condition of the place. Because of the condition of the place, it's not that safe. So they said that I will not be going out of the Bauchi road. I have to stay, because even lock the gate didn't allow me to go. And I was like, but my brother called me, and this is how this is. They're not okay. If there is the case, let me call him back. So when I called him, and it's the people that I don't know, the people that attack him, I don't even know. They are the one that picked the call, and they was like, they picked the call. I don't say hello. The next thing they start telling me that that's what they were telling me in Hausa, that they have killed my brother, I should come and take his corpse. From there, my heart just broke. I just started crying. I was crying. When people were coming, they were seeing me crying. Everything was in. They just managed to take me to my boys' quarters. So when I reached there, I was even crying. I was just crying. My neighbors, people around, they came out, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I'll tell them, "This is what is going on with my brother. He went out to Terminus, coming back, all this kind of stuff." And they were like, "Let me keep quiet. My brother is not dead. They believe that he will still come back. Let me stop crying." They believe that my brother maybe someone come and rescue him to the hospital or something like that, or maybe his fall fell down, and they pick it, and they were just trying to put fear in me. And I was like, all right, they just try and consult me, they calm me down. I said, okay. So when I stayed for 1 hour, let me just say 1 hour, I was really, really worried. Then one of my landlady, my neighbors, she came and told me out that let us just go back to the security people and go and report to them that maybe they can go out and look for him, or even if they're like he's dead, but let them find and bring it. Okay. Thank God he left his ID card. He didn't took his ID card to Terminus. So I carried the ID card along with me. So we tell them that, so this is the person that he went to Terminus, and we don't even know whether they have killed him or he's still alive. They now collect the ID card, they snap the ID card, and I say, okay, let me just go back to my DQ. Let me just go and relax. That they will know what to do about it. And I'll say, okay. So I now went back to my quarters. I was there 1 hour, 2 hours, around exactly 12 to 1. Then I now log into my group chat. Then they started posting videos. Because my group chat, they know me, so there's also the video online, and just started posting on my WhatsApp platform. And I was like, when I enter, I check the video, and I play the video, and I hear it's my brother's voice. They were like trying to they interviewed him. They were asking him, okay, what is your name? said his name is Long the Mall Sharp. Which department? He said geology, 200 level, University of Jos. Then the woman was like, okay, do you have a relative or do you stay with anyone around? Then he said yes. He said, what is the name of the person? He said, his name is Nandong. I said, okay. And the woman was right there. She asked him, okay, which department? He said statistics department, 400 level. The woman just write everything there. Then they just post the video online. So that's how people are just attacking me. People started calling me, everything. That's how I know where is where.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
It may not be wrong to say lack of proper accountability by the Nigeria police force. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, is largely responsible for the daily killings in the troubled Jos city of Plateau State. This is probably glaring on Wednesday when a resident reported with a video evidence of a disturbing situation wherein a man was seen mobbed and stoned to death at a very popular and ever-busy road apparently within the area or near the University of Jos permanent site. Group of attackers as seen in the video operated for some minutes if not up to an hour, used sticks, stones among others to hit the victim's head until they were satisfied the man would have been dead, while vehicles were seen speeding off and moving away from them with no resistance or timely response from the Nigerian security operatives, even when the worsening security situations and tensions in Plateau State have become of global concern. This, the Plateau State Command of the Nigeria Police Force, in a statement on Wednesday, only said a disagreement ensued between some youths in Nasarawa Gwong community of Jos North local government area on Wednesday and caused minor tensions in the town, saying, unfortunately, some hoodlums and crisis merchants took advantage of the situation to cause fear and panic among traders and students within the university community. However, the command, in collaboration with other security agencies, swiftly intervened, arrested the situation and restored calm in the area, but the Nigeria Police Force Command apparently kept mute on the now viral video of a man being mobbed and stoned to death in a brutal and highly provocative manner that can cause a reprisal attack, more so, as daily killings in the state are attributed to religious differences. Although some persons said the victim was still alive, but Sun newspaper reported on Thursday morning that 3 persons including the victim were killed in the fresh violence that erupted in Plateau State on Wednesday. According to the police press release signed and made available by the Plateau State Police Command Public Relations Officer, Alfred Alabo, following the relaxation of the 48-hour curfew by the Executive Governor of Plateau State, the Commissioner of Police, CP Basiewa, advises members of the public to comply with the curfew imposition, as there will be strict enforcement. In the early hours of today, a disagreement which ensued between some youths in Nasarawa Gwong community of Jos North local government area caused minor tensions in the town. Unfortunately, some hoodlums and crisis merchants took advantage of the situation to cause fear and panic among traders and students within the university community. However, the command, in collaboration with other security agencies, swiftly intervened, arrested the situation and restored calm in the area. Efforts have since been made by the police, the state government and the leadership of the school to provide buses to convey the students to their preferred locations, while massive security deployment has been made by the command to secure other students and school facilities. So far, the command has arrested 7 suspects, including one Matthew Musa, 27 years, who was arrested in possession of 2 locally made firearms, and one Yakubu Abdullahi, 26 years old, who was wearing a military uniform with an extra shirt and a forged Nigerian military school identity card. The suspects are currently under investigation at the state CID and will be charged to court upon conclusion. The CP hereby warns all criminal elements who intend to use this as an avenue to cause mayhem within the state, that the command will not hesitate to deal with them severely in accordance with the law. He further warns that the command will not stand and watch lawless hoodlums turn the state into a theater for violence. He therefore calls on all parents, traditional, religious leaders to warn their children, wards, congregants and followers to abide by the curfew restrictions, as the command will show no mercy in ensuring that the law takes its full course. To report any suspicious activities within your environment, visit the nearest police station or contact our control room through the numbers below: 07059473022 and 08038907662. PPRO phone number 08060545670 and PCB phone numbers 07058001055. Additional number 07068890355. In a statement personally signed on Wednesday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, "I have postponed my trip to Iperu, Ogun State. My first duty at this moment is to stand with the people of Plateau. I will be in Jos to commiserate with families who have lost loved ones and to reaffirm that those who seek to spread fear will not prevail. We will continue to strengthen our security response and ensure that justice is done. From Plateau, I will proceed to Lagos to observe Good Friday, and then continue with scheduled engagements in Ogun, Lagos, and Bayelsa focused on infrastructure, trade, and economic growth. In moments of grief, we must stand together. In moments of progress, we must keep building. The work continues. Nigeria first." Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State also stated in a statement on Wednesday that, "Today, I visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to brief him on the Palm Sunday night attack in the Angwan Rakuba community of Jos North local government area, and to update him on the proactive measures we have taken to address the situation. The incident was deeply unfortunate, but we thank God that the situation has now been brought under control. In response to the attack, we swiftly implemented several proactive steps, including the imposition of a 48-hour curfew, the reinforcement of the existing ban on motorcycle operations within the Greater Jos Master Plan, and the immediate convening of a State Security Council meeting to review and strengthen our security framework to prevent further escalation. This morning, we relaxed the curfew from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to allow residents attend to essential activities. Regrettably, some miscreants took advantage of this window to engage in looting and attempt to disrupt the peace. I am, however, pleased to report that our security forces responded promptly and restored order without delay. The President expressed his support for the decisive measures we have put in place to contain the situation and prevent a recurrence of such unfortunate incidents. He also offered valuable counsel on strategies to achieve lasting peace in the state and extended his heartfelt condolences to the victims and the people of Plateau State. Deeply moved by the situation, the President has graciously adjusted his schedule to undertake an emergency visit to Plateau State as a demonstration of his concern, solidarity, and commitment to the people. He has also approved additional measures to be implemented in collaboration with security agencies to further stabilize the situation. Punch newspaper had reported earlier on Wednesday that tension has again erupted in Jos, Plateau State, as fresh attacks by hoodlums on motorists and residents were recorded across several parts of the city on Wednesday, despite the recent relaxation of the curfew by the state government. According to our correspondent, sources said a young man walking along the road leading to the Unijos permanent site was hacked to death by hoodlums who descended on him without provocation. The killing further heightened panic among residents already on edge over the growing unrest. In the terminus, Bauchi Road and Gangier areas, several motorists had their windscreens smashed as mobs attacked passing vehicles and pedestrians. Business activities were paralyzed across affected communities, with many shop owners refusing to open for fear of being caught in the violence. Banks operating in the volatile locations were also forced to shut down operations temporarily, as staff and customers struggled to navigate the escalating tension. Residents listed the most affected areas as the Unijos Corridor, Bauchi Road, Farangada, Tina Junction and Chobe, noting that movement had significantly thinned out as many people opted to remain indoors. Sun newspaper also reported that, few hours after the relaxation of the 48-hour curfew imposed by the Plateau state government over Sunday's killing in Angwen Rakuba, fresh violence erupted around the city center yesterday, heightening tension and uncertainty. In the latest orgy of violence, 2 persons were killed in Gardabu area when some rampaging youths attacked traders who had displayed their wares early in the morning, while the 3rd person was hacked to death along Ferengada markets near the main campus of the University of Jos, Unijos. In the heat of the mayhem, the bells of the Fatima Cathedral Church continuously tolled, signaling troubles. Consequently, youth from Gardabu, Apata and Chobi barricaded the gigantic edifice and chased away hoodlums who attempted to attack the church.
As the Chief Security Officer of the state, how can you correct this impression, the true picture of what is happening?
Well, in a crisis of this nature, you can't reduce it to one reason. It's a mixture of multiple reasons, and sometimes you can only deduce the actual reasons when you are able to get 2 groups of people, first the victims and then the attackers. Unfortunately, we've not been able to lay hands on the attackers yet to know their identities and their motive. But of course, the victims would normally speak like you have said. But we are seeing this as an act of criminality. It's barbaric. We condemn it. It's an act of terrorism. Because whatever religion you belong to, it does not give you any basis to come and do the kind of actions that were done on Sunday. We're therefore hoping that going forward, we'll deal with this as criminality.
Bring in you the news in a more digital way.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria has commended the governors of Kaduna and Plateau states after citizens were massacred by terrorists almost simultaneously on Sunday in the 2 states, with the president claiming Governor Caleb Mutfwang contained the situation in Jos without specifically stating what the governor did. Even when armed terrorist scenes successfully invaded and massacred citizens, or brutally and indiscriminately shot sporadically and killed numbers of persons at Gari Yahweh quarters in the Angwen Rakuba community of Jos North local government area of Plateau State on Sunday night, which was also the Christians' last day of the Holy Week of Lent known as Palm Sunday leading up to Easter celebration. Residents said the terrorists raided the community and operated for a long period of time that lasted up to an hour without resistance or any action from government. Some even accused men of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, AFN, of allegedly aiding and giving cover to the terrorists to escape. Specifically, one of the youth's leaders in Plateau State, who spoke with a prominent Nigeria social media personality, Martins Vincentots aka Veridakman, who visited the scene of the crime, said, Nigeria's soldiers prevented the youths from going after the terrorists and stood in between the gaps shooting at the youths while the terrorists escaped. But, in a swift reaction on Tuesday, Nigeria Army Authority debunked the claim that the soldiers gave the terrorists a cover, saying, the soldiers arrived the scene with 4 gun trucks after the terrorists have left due to long distance and acted professionally without stating what the soldiers did professionally before the Sunday massacre. On Friday, in one of the burial ceremonies of the people that were previously killed by terrorists in Plateau State during the Christians' Holy Week of Lent, Reverend Ezekiel Dakamo, while speaking, said, in this village, Rim in Riyam local government area, alone, we have received attacks from the Islamic terrorists more than 24 times, and many residents said the Sunday massacre was premeditated and the governor and the president apparently failed to put proactive measures in place to prevent the attacks. That aside, almost at the same time on Sunday, another group of terrorists attacked Kahir village in Kagako local government area of Kaduna State, shot sporadically at residents and killed and kidnapped several numbers of wedding guests, a crime, according to Punch newspaper. A resident said the attackers operated freely and successfully up to an hour without resistance, but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in a press statement on Tuesday specifically said, I commend Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State for his efforts in containing the situation in Jos and Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State for supporting the rescue and containment efforts. apparently reacting to the worsening security situation in Nigeria shortly after the president's press release was published on Tuesday. Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, former Nigeria Chief of Army Staff, posted a video in his verified Facebook social media account with a statement, "History, Maiduguri, Nigeria, year 2017. For the first time in years, the Nigerian army conducted military drills in the Sambisa forest, which previously had been a stronghold for Boko Haram." Voice of America, VOA, was given rare access to the exercises. Formations of the Nigerian army performed their 2017 annual drill in Borno State, in northeast Nigeria. The location in Sambisa forest was no accident. The Nigerian army retook Sambisa late 2016 and moved its annual exercises there. The event was attended by leaders from the military and the Nigerian government. In contrast to the commendation of Plateau and Kaduna states' governors, it would be recalled that President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State on March 18, 2025, and gave 6-month suspension to the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, and the State House of Assembly on the grounds that the Fubara administration was failing to protect critical infrastructure, specifically regarding the reported vandalization of oil pipelines like Trans-Niger Pipeline without intervention, even in the face of verifiable facts that on February 18, 2025, exactly 1 month before his suspension, Fubara met with the General Officer Commanding, GOC of the 6th Division, pledging full support for military efforts to curb pipeline vandalism and protect national infrastructure, and invested in operational equipment, including donating vehicles, gunboats, and an AW-139 helicopter to the Nigerian Air Force on March 5, 2025 to enhance their efficiency in patrolling oil facilities, while Fubara also publicly charged traditional rulers to actively work for peace in the domains and help stem the tide of oil bunkering and vandalism. According to American humanitarian and people's rights activist, Alex Barbier, if you have no right to breathe, what right do you have? While people are fighting for elections, and painting banners of Tinubu, and everybody's worrying about APC, PDP, LP, you are being killed. At what point will the people care about life? Alex Barbier made this in reaction to the Sunday massacre at Gari Yahweh area in Jos, while speaking with the locals at the scene of the crime. While Reverend Ezekiel Dakamo called on President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. to send a small unit of U.S. soldiers alongside U.S. drones to Plateau State, else the people in the state would be wiped out by the Islami terrorists. Reacting to soldiers giving the terrorists cover to escape, Captain Chinonso Polycarpote, the media information officer of Joint Task Force Operation Enduring Peace, in a rebuttal on Tuesday, stated in quotes that the attention of Headquarters Joint Task Force Operation Enduring Peace has been drawn to a false comment by one of the youth leaders of Angwin Rakuba community, circulating on various social media platforms, alleging that troops provided cover for the perpetrators of Palm Sunday unprovoked attack at Angwin Rakuba community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. Ordinarily, the reply to the comment made by the youth leader would not have been necessary, especially in this moment of grief, but for the purpose of clarity and the benefit of well-meaning Nigerians, it is expedient to state unequivocally that at no point did troops provide any form of cover for the terrorist elements who carried out the unfortunate attack that claimed the lives of innocent citizens. Rather, troops on receiving a distress call on the unfortunate incident swiftly mobilized to the scene, which was far away from where they were deployed, and observed that the attackers had fled. Troops acted professionally to avert what could have spiraled to endless bloodshed and pursued the fleeing criminals, as can be attested to by so many survivors who were at the scene of the attack. Specifically, 4 gun trucks mounted by troops were dispatched to the incident scene, and they acted professionally on arrival, as confirmed by other security agencies, as well as eyewitnesses at the scene of the attack. Nonetheless, the allegation was promptly investigated and confirmed to be false. The comment by the youth leader is false, misleading and unfortunate, capable of demoralizing troops and causing disaffection between the military and its host community. The public is requested to discountenance the comment, remain calm, law-abiding and continue to support troops with credible and actionable information on terrorists' activities. Troops in conjunction with other security agencies have adopted effective strategies to unravel and apprehend the perpetrators of the dastardly act. Troops will continue to deal decisively with criminals while maintaining peace in every part of Plateau State. Nigeria Presidency. In a statement signed and made available by Bayo Onanuga, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu has strongly condemned the barbaric and cowardly attacks by gunmen in Angwin Rakuba District, Jos, Plateau State. He equally condemned the attacks in Kahir village in Kagako local government area of Kaduna State. Describing the attack on the community in Jos and the killing and abduction of wedding guests in Kaduna as an affront to all that Nigeria stands for, President Tinubu assured Nigerians that the barbaric acts will not go unpunished. Anyone who will sneak under the cover of the night and kill defenseless citizens, as done in Jos and Kahir village, is a heartless coward. By attacking soft targets in Jos, their objective is not only to cause harm but also trigger a spiral of reprisal attacks and further bloodletting, he said. He has directed security agencies to intensify all efforts to pursue the perpetrators and those spreading misinformation that can inflame tensions and further endanger lives. He cautioned some sections of the media, insinuating the attacks were religiously motivated. President Tinubu reaffirmed that security agencies are actively addressing the situation and stressed that public cooperation is vital to maintaining peace and protecting lives and property. He stressed the need for communities to comply with evacuation, relocation, and related advice and processes. He hailed the safe return of 2 of the Kaduna victims. I urge our security agencies to be more proactive in preventing these attacks by acting on early warning intelligence. All the remaining abductees from Kahir village must be rescued immediately, the president said. I commend Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State for his efforts in containing the situation in Jos and Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State for supporting the rescue and containment efforts. I assure the people and government of the 2 states of my support. I commiserate with the families of those killed and pray for the quick recovery of the injured. Our government is currently acquiring more sophisticated equipment to enable our security agencies to track and smash criminals, in real time, wherever they are. Meanwhile, Vanguard newspaper reported on Tuesday that the United States Congressman, Riley Moore, warned yesterday that continued attacks on Christians in Nigeria could strain diplomatic relations with the U.S., following reports of a deadly Palm Sunday killings in Jos, Plateau State, and Kaduna State. Recall that no fewer than 40 persons were killed by gunmen suspected to be terrorists on Sunday night at Angwa Rakuba community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State and Kahir village in Kagako local government area of Kaduna State. While 27 were killed at Rakuba community in Plateau, 13 wedding guests were mowed down by the attackers in Kaduna. The police in Plateau, however, said only 14 persons were killed in the attack that marred Palm Sunday in the community. Reacting to the killings in a post on X yesterday, Moore condemned the reported killing of Christians in Angwin Rakuba, describing the incident as part of a troubling pattern of violence targeting worshippers during religious observances. The congressman, who was part of a United States fact-finding delegation on alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria, added that such attacks had become frequent during Christian holy days, urging Nigerian authorities to take decisive action to prevent further bloodshed. This Palm Sunday, reports from Nigeria indicate that at least 10 Christians were martyred in the city of Jos. Radical Islamic terrorists opened fire on the Christians before hacking them to pieces with machetes. This is sickening and unacceptable, but it's not surprising. This tragedy follows a pattern of radical Islamic terrorists massacring Christians on holy days. In fact, terrorists have attacked Christians in Nigeria on every single holy day in recent memory, except for last Christmas when President Trump sent 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles to stop them, he added. Moore called on the federal government, led by President Bola Tinubu, to urgently strengthen security measures ahead of upcoming religious events. Abuja knows this pattern and they must massively ramp up security for the Triduum and Easter. If they don't take this threat seriously and mobilize to defend our brothers and sisters in Christ, blood of these martyrs will be on their hands, and there will be significant consequences for Nigeria's relationship with the United States, he warned. Meanwhile, the attackers of the Plateau community, said to be in large numbers, stormed the densely populated community at about 7:30 p.m. on Palm Sunday and opened a sporadic fire on residents, throwing the area into panic. Punch newspaper also reported that at least 13 persons have been killed, and several others abducted after suspected bandits attacked a wedding ceremony in Kahir village, Kagako local government area of Kaduna State. The incident, which occurred late Sunday night at about 11:47 p.m., has triggered fresh fears over rising insecurity in rural communities across the state. Eyewitnesses said the gunmen, who arrived in large numbers and were armed with sophisticated weapons, stormed the wedding venue and opened fire indiscriminately on guests. A resident of the area, Shehu Bala, said the incident plunged the community into chaos, as guests scampered for safety. They came in large numbers and started shooting sporadically. People were running in different directions. Many were hit by bullets, Bala said. He added that several victims sustained gunshot injuries and were rushed to the General Hospital in Kagako, while those in critical condition were referred to facilities in Kaduna for advanced medical attention. Bala further noted that the exact number of abducted persons could not be immediately ascertained due to the confusion that trailed the attack. A community leader, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said the assailants operated for nearly 1 hour without any resistance from security forces. They attacked the wedding and later moved around the village, looting shops and carting away food items, provisions and even medical supplies, the source said. According to him, many residents fled into nearby bushes as the sound of gunshots echoed throughout the community. It was gathered that the victims have since been buried, while efforts to establish contact with the abductors have not yielded results. He gave the names of some of those killed as Bako Danjuma, Williams Luca, Peter Williams, Joseph Yakubu, Victor Peter, John Dan Asabe, Angulu Marcus, Maikano Arabi, Douglas John, Adu Yakubu, Zafania Al-Haji, Joseph Kada and Francis Unguadoya.
In Nkabu, they just murdered over 10 people. Innocent Christians. On Palm Sunday. Tinubu, where are you? As your people are slaughtered in the night. As you sit in Aso Rock and you do absolutely nothing. You allow your people to be killed again and again and again and again. When will it stop? When will you hear the cries of Nigerians, of Christians? You can no longer deny genocide. They're being slaughtered. And you say there's no issue. You will regret what you are doing.
Yes, sir. I'm the youth leader of the Northern Plateau.
Yes, sir.
Under Plateau Youth Council. I coordinate the Northern Zone from Angorukuba direct. I was trained in Angorukuba, grew up in Angorukuba. Unfortunate incidents happened yesterday around 7:30. Gunmen just came, started shooting on people. Some are using machete. And the unfortunate aspect of it is that most of them are wearing half camo. There is the army clothes and a veil, this Hausa veil on their neck. And they were speaking Hausa and this Fulani language. Going down, spraying bullets on people, and other people are using machete. When they are going down in less than 10 minutes, they will now see army car. Like 2 Hilux just came, 2 bikers, 3 in 1, and give them cover. I was there, I think one of the army nearly shot me on the leg. He missed and sprayed on the ground.
The army, Nigerian army.
The Nigerian army, and some of them.
Sorry, please, I will have to take you back a little.
Yes.
You said you witnessed that when they came down, some of them were shooting, some of them were using machete on people.
Yes.
Army came with their van and gave them cover. What do you mean by giving them cover?
Yes. Army, Hilux, 2 Hilux came.
Nigerian army.
Nigerian army. When youth came out, en masse in order to follow the attackers. On realizing that they are attackers, because 2 weeks back, NDLA came in, started shooting and arrest some people because of drug issue. And then when this one started, the boys thought that it was the same operation. Unknowingly, when we came close, we now realized that the setting of these people, they are not NDLA. Then we now gather the youth, trying to go on, move, and follow these people. In less than 10 minutes, army car, Hilux 2 came and blocked the youth and started spraying bullets off. I think we packed so many things. We have facts on ground.
My name is Tayo Johnson. I was coming from Kogi State, from Kaba. That is my residence place, family place. So I went and visited them. I do stay in Gombe. On my way coming, I bought a vehicle from Abuja to Bauchi. When we reach Bauchi Junction there, we continue just a kilometer and just a meter forward. Then some people came to attack us. Yeah, they said, where is the Christian inside vehicle? I said, those people were looking for back to they look at me that the Christian. This man from glass, she took glass to leave, took a knife in the hand. Then I now rushed. They now pulled me out vehicle. Because I sat there back for driver, they pulled me out. This thing, they are selling cutlass, the machetes, different things they have, about 10 or say, drag me, carry stone, big stone, hit me, carry on top, they release it. But they hated me everywhere. They thought that I'm dead. They never left me. They left. Small time I was able to wake up, I see them, they are disappeared. I now started running. They see that I started running, they followed me again second time. They fought, they talked that I might die the second time. They left. So I sleep there for more than 1 hour. Later on, I now rescue safety operation. The police came to rescue me where I slept.
If you can gather anything, I know if I say this now, they'll say I am encouraging violence. But to protect yourself, violence is the only way. I am telling you, if you can get knives, if you can get hunter's gun, if you can get anything to protect your land, protect your land. Don't listen to the government that they will come and help you. They will not. Anybody you see that is not from here, anybody that looks suspicious, before they get you down, get them down. Listen to me. If you keep quiet and wait for the government, just no be the first time it happen, no be the second time, no be the third time, no be the fourth time, no be the fifth, no be the sixth. We don't lose count. No be today start. It don't pass 15 years when they keep people for just. Even before I start to get sense, they don't keep people for just. The question we ask the government is, when does this stop?
If you have no right to breathe, what right do you have? No right. While people are fighting for elections and painting vans of Tinubu and everybody's worrying about APC, PDP, DPD, you are being killed. At what point will the people care about life? Islam says that I should be arrested by DSS. They say, how can this person come here and speak? How can this person be allowed into Nigeria? Can I tell you, the only reason I'm here is because you guys are being killed. Yeah. And right now, the Nigerian Christians do not have a voice. You are being silenced, and you are expected to comply with injustice. But the Lord does not only reserve justice for heaven. Justice is not only reserved for when Jesus comes back. Yes. Justice has called Christians to establish justice on this earth.
Justice
here
now.
and now.
Yes, now.
Not in 5 years.
No.
Not in 20 years.
Now. No. It's now.
If you have no right to live, what right do you have? And how long will we tolerate this? My heart is with you, that's why I'm here.
Yes.
If there is no killing, if there is no injustice, I wouldn't be speaking now. It pains me and it's shameful that I even have to speak. And they want me to be silent. They want me to not talk about what is happening. I would rather die than be silent.
Yes.
Out of the mortuary. Not a great sight, Alex.
It's disgusting. And when I was there last night, there were roughly 11 or 12 bodies. And by the time we come here today, it's almost tripled. There's 30 people that were killed. And it's pure evil. And nobody's coming to defend them. Nobody's speaking out about how absolute evil was done by terrorists. They only care about if someone's speaking the truth, if someone's posting pictures, if someone's there. And it's just, I don't know how this can continue to be tolerated. It's evil. I can't even breathe in that room because of bodies, corpses that are just, oh God.
We just came from where these people were killed.
Yeah.
We literally had to walk on their blood. They're showing us the sites.
Exactly.
And people were telling us what was happening there. You said something that was profound. The distance from the police station to the places people were killed. You would say something.
It's like 20 meters. I mean, from here to there. So how can the attack happen for an hour or 30 minutes, however long? They're killing, shooting, killing people with machete. But then the police are nowhere to be found.
And they're all there today now in their uniforms.
Yeah, they have their tank, they're all dressed, they're all equipped, they're ready to go after the killing happens.
I'm sending a message to Trump. Please, at least, just give us fractional American army with their drones to come to Plateau State. If not, many of us will continue to be losing life. With Alex Barber that is here, he saw everything that was happening. And the war will know.
Osazuwakan Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way. Osazuwakan Radio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.